Linda Mwananchi wanted a seat on Azimio la Umoja, and Kaluri Omondi is holding brief for them. So where is Tony Gachoka? Tony Gachoka is in Kanu. Kanu is in Azimio. Azimio is in a coalition of the united opposition, which we are hoping, with the existence of Kaluri Omondi there, that Linda Mwananchi may join us, so that we create a force that can be able to meet William Ruto in the next election.
Which brings me to my very next question, TG, and you know this. Everybody's.
But before I leave Gideon Moi,
yes.
You remember William Ruto tweeted, and Gideon Moi knew I'm coming to see you.
Today?
Of course he does.
Today?
Kuambia Ruto awache hiyo tabia kumutweet.
Our
president surely has a way to communicate. There is a telephone, he can use an email. So the president usiku kutweet Gideon Moi, you are a billionaire, you are going to see me. Well, Ruto acha him maneno bana. Well, if you want to call Gideon, ring him. Yeah. Ama send Kipchumba Murkomen aongee na yeye.
But listen.
Sasa mambo ya kutweet usiku za yote.
Si ni kama Trump anatweetaga usiku.
And that is why the Greeks say that, you know, if you want to see that somebody is going crazy, you know, when the gods say, the Greeks have a good saying, they say, those that the gods want to destroy, they first make mad.
Yes.
When a president of a country can sit down and tweet today, and then the next day tweet again, and his tweet is on Gideon Moi and the newspaper called the Standard Media Group, because the Standard Media Group reports what he says, not Gideon Moi doing anything. The Standard is reporting, wewe ulisema utajenga barabara, ulisema utafanya shule, ulisema SHA will work, ulisema hivi, and the Standard is just saying this is what you said, it's not happening. Then he says, well, Gideon utaniona. Now, this man called William Ruto at home doesn't have a mirror, because that is why he needs a Standard or Citizen. Because what we are simply doing is showing him a mirror to look and see what is happening.
Okay.
So about the tweets,
yes.
Just to close it,
yes.
The president, it's out of order for you to tweet our chairman and stop that habit. Wewe wacha kutweet Gideon Moi.
Unamwambia?
Nimemwambia.
Haya.
Sifuna's vote in Nairobi will be substantial. It will be substantial because of his influence among Gen Zs, but more particularly the Luhya vote. If you look at the demographics that I ran against Babu Owino is having a difficulty, and many Luo MPs in Nairobi will have a trouble.
TG, he was just voted the best performing MP in the entire nation. Best, number one.
Now, let me give him accolades because I wasn't there, so I don't know how, but I wish him well. But I'm talking about the demographics of Nairobi.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. Baba won Kibra because he got Luo votes, Nubian votes, Luhya votes. There is a coalition in Kibra that would allow Baba to be elected.
It's in Nairobi Cosmopolitan City.
It is,
Come on,
but you are asking, you're asking me a question I'm going to answer.
Okay.
That you must be very careful when you run in places like Nairobi to build coalitions that can win. You need to be able to be a good candidate, but you also need a coalition. The other day I saw Faith Odhiambo, the former chair of the LSK, go to see Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. I thought that was very clever because she's a good candidate. She stands a good chance to win, to become the woman rep, but she would need a substantial support from Wiper to be able to succeed. And those are the demographics of Nairobi and so forth.
Can TG beat Babu?
I can tell you today, without any fear of contradiction, I would beat Babu by 7-1. Oh, 100%. And it's not because he's not a good candidate. It is because we would have to now do some arithmetic with him. First of all, Babu was elected in Embakasi through ODM. The ODM coalition in his own constituency has more than the Luo vote. It has a coalition of votes. In fact, when Linda Mwananchi launched their drive in Nairobi, I noticed they launched it in Kangemi, where there is a lot of Luhya and Kisii votes. That was very clever of Sifuna, because Kangemi is a really nice place for Sifuna to launch. When Sifuna has gone to Kakamega, he knows where he's going. I think it's important for you to understand that Babu would need to put a coalition in Nairobi that would get Mount Kenya votes, that would get Kamba votes. And I know he's been seeing Rigathi Gachagua, and I know he has gone to see Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, Babu, in terms of making a coalition. What I don't understand is how he can make that coalition from where he's seated now.
Okay.
You see, this is one of the reasons Ruto is tweeting. Ruto is tweeting because he has a lot of fear. about what Gideon Moi will do. So today I cannot put Ruto out of his misery, and therefore I choose not to answer the question. What is Gideon Moi going to do?
Yeah.
Oh my, William Ruto, what is Gideon Moi going to do? Why? Oh my.
That's the $64 million question.
No, according to Ruto, it was $1 billion. I think from the tweet, he said this is $1 billionaire, I think. Those were his words. So what is Gideon Moi going to do? Only I know.
So he could run. He could run.
I have no comment. That is for William Ruto to...
You're the spokesman, Okani. You're the spokesman. Come on, TG.
I am not going to make an official statement about that, but let William Ruto gravel on that.
Goonism, TG. It's taking over.
Could I say William Ruto almost won this argument? William Ruto has a very advanced communication and strategy team with the likes of Itumbi, Hussein Mohammed, and a guy called David Churchill. They had been able to paint Rigathi Gachagua, the angry man who was deputy president, as a person who's so angry that he was sponsoring goonism, this tribal narrative that Mount Kenya is a tribal place, and because of all that, everything evil comes from the mountain. But they never saw that when Baba died, he would not die through Sifuna. They never saw Mimi ndio Sifuna. So comes Linda Mwananchi. They come from different parts of the country. They come from demographics that the president has in his coalition. Then he starts to beat them. He shoots them in Kisii. Today, I think he attacked James Orengo. Today, he has attacked Karuri Omondi. So he's no longer attacked, and he didn't attack Gachagua. So all of a sudden, the country is looking and seeing, you mean the goonism is not an exclusive Mount Kenya issue. Goonism is now a national affair by a sitting president against anybody who doesn't support him. So the only place is free of goonism is Rift Valley. There is nowhere else in Kenya you are safe. You can nowhere else in Kenya can you have a meeting and be safe, including Western Kenya, because now Western Kenya is saying no to William Ruto. So goonism has now become the tool of William Ruto, and we want to tell William Ruto there is a difference between being a president and the head of the mafia. You know, Koinanga, when you are the head of the mafia, you rule by the gun, and then you don't like what somebody say, you say take them away and shoot them, and you shoot them in the leg, you shoot them in the head, and the martyr is then over. The Italian, the way you do this, and then you come and you kiss the king, and you're the godfather, you kiss the ring. Ruto, you are no godfather, we don't kiss no ring. Ruto, you are a president elected accountable to the people. The police and all these people are tools within the constitution. And I heard Kiraito Murungi say the other day that William Ruto has never lost an election. William Ruto lost the no campaign. Ruto was the one saying no to 2010 constitution. Tulimpiga 10-0. Raila Odinga and Kibaki were together, and Ruto lost. Ruto actually lost the election. He's the one who was selling Uhuru Kenyatta in 2002. He lost. This idea that Ruto never lost an election. The only reason Ruto is president of Kenya is because Mount Kenya defied Uhuru and voted for him. Without Mount Kenya, Ruto is not a president.
Will you get Mount Kenya next time?
William Ruto. That is why you need mattresses, gas, boats, fishing hooks, Okalao. I mean, this man Ruto, you know sometimes, the Chinese have a saying that ambition without knowledge is like a ship on land. Anaona ana watu.
But listen, Tiji, a lot of money is being poured in Okalao.
Yes, of course. And you know who his chief agent is? Moses Kuria, who he fired, then re-employed. He fired. Let me tell you something. William Ruto and this Moses Kuria are very interesting people. They score their own goal. You don't need to do anything. You just let them. Somebody asked me, why don't you answer Moses Kuria? I said, don't answer him. Just leave him. Yeah. Moses Kuria anamuka and a score. His own goal. Yeah. William Ruto anamuka asubuhi, anasema SHA, anasema housing, anasema this. Nothing works. So you just let Ruto be Ruto. And then let him stand in an election. It's like Sakaja. You don't need to do anything. Just let Sakaja be Sakaja. Let Ruto be Ruto. The first person I want to call out here today is my friend George Natembea. I was very impressed when you had him here on the bench.
It was good.
George Natembea is the head of the Tawe movement.
Yep.
Na dawa ya Ruto ni Natembea. Because Natembea has understood that he must give Edwin Sifuna cover. He must guide his brother. And what George Natembeya has done is shelve his ambition to make a party that will be launched on the 26th of July in Bungoma. That vehicle and that party will effectively remove the entire Luhya nation from the Kenya Kwanza coalition. The moment you remove the Luhya component from the Kenya Kwanza coalition, that is the end of William Ruto. He will never grow beyond 24%. And therefore, I am telling you today that George Natembeya and Edwin Sifuna, what they are doing on the 26th of July will be the game changer for Ruto. Because without the Kikuyu coalition, the only other coalition that Ruto has is Western Kenya. Yeah. And if Western Kenya leave him, he has only got Rift Valley and Luo Nyanza. Edwin Sifuna has come as a phenomenon. He has come of the people and by the people. It's the same phenomenon I'm dealing with in Wamunyoro. I've told Eugene, this is not personal. Even I have to defer to Rigathi Gachagua because Wamunyoro has taken the mountain. And if I want to be governor of Nairobi, I must go and talk to Wamunyoro. Yeah. So if Eugene wants to survive in Western Kenya, he must talk to Sifuna. He must talk to Sifuna. He has no choice. You didn't
tell me about Weta and Madividi.
Now, what I am saying, Weta and Madividi have now just fallen on their sword. In fact, I saw they went to a football match the other day and they were being heckled. Everyone saying Mimi ndio Sifuna. And the reason is this. And in fact, Farouk Kibet, I would say, among everybody else in the Ruto team is clever. He has been pushing Musalia, not Musalia, but Papa Waroma. He has been pushing Wetangula very much because he thinks Wetangula should be the running mate, not Kindiki, of William Ruto. And the problem that they're having now is Mudavadi is uncomfortable with Wetangula, but the ground is completely uncomfortable with both of them. So the earthquake, as was executed by Mudavadi and Wetangula, has been good. But look at the proportion of resources, Jeff, of how Ruto is not clever. He put about 300 million every week in Luo Nyanza, who have about 8% of the vote. How much does he put in Western? If you look at the proportionality of the investment and the energy, he is going to rescue ODM, what he's calling ODM of Oburu. But ODM of Oburu has been reduced to NDP level. It is about Luo Nyanza, and it's about 8% of the vote. And then Mudavadi and Weta are saying, look, you should concentrate more on us because we have 18% of the vote. The Luhya community is bigger. But Ruto has not been responded. And so he has allowed Western Kenya, in terms of lack of resources and energy, to thrift away. And Sifuna has got three advantages. Number one, he was born in Bungoma, so he's a Bukusu. Number two, his mother is from Kakamega. Number three, he's a son of Baba Raila Odinga. By staying close to Raila, he was able to inherit the Baba orphans and the Baba constituency, which included a very big part of Busia, Vihiga, and parts of Kakamega. So what has happened is that Sifuna is the reincarnation of Baba. Sifuna is the reincarnation of Baba, and I want to tell every Luhya who is listening to Jeff Koinange Live today, in Sunday Live, is that you must all come, man and woman, child born and unborn, behind Edwin Sifuna. If the entire Western come behind Sifuna, there will be no election in 2027. Because Edwin Sifuna can sit down with his comrade called Kalonzo Musyoka, and they can be able to form a ticket that can take William Ruto home.
A ticket with who as president and who as DP?
Why I think that Kalonzo should be the presidential candidate is based on my studies while I was in Europe. I studied Winston Churchill greatly and how the Allied forces came together. Churchill was 65 on the 10th of May 1940 when he became Prime Minister of the island of England. And then Hitler was Chancellor in 1933. He was made Chancellor on the 30th of January 1933. But it took Churchill at 65 to unify America, to bring in Stalin, Roosevelt and Stalin, and to put an alliance of allies to be able to defeat Hitler. We need a Hitler. We have a need for a Churchill moment. We need somebody who can bring everybody together, including the Gen Zs, to be able to bring everybody in Gen Zote and put everybody against Ruto in one unified way. You need somebody with the stature of Kalonzo Musyoka to play the role of Churchill, to play the role of bringing the Allied forces together. Yeah. And I believe that not only can he do it because he's a good man, but because he worked with Raila 3-4 times. People like Sifuna find it easier to actually work with him because he's sellable in their part of the country. And he's also sellable to Amunyoro.
And you would say Kalonzo as the Churchill moment.
Yes.
For one term.
For one term, yes.
And then Sifuna as a running mate.
Yes, as his running mate. And then I love it because what that then does, it opens up the country to two communities that have a chance of opening it up. When you take about a Kamba community where about 7% of the population, between 5 to 7%, ever rising to the top, had never been seen possible. So this formula could allow that, to demystify the fact that a non-Kikuyu or a non-big tribe can take the Kalenjin or Kikuyu must take the presidency. But also it then opens up Sifuna and the younger people to the opportunities of after. And remember also, Jeff, we have the 50+1 percentage challenge in the constitution. This idea that you can do it alone doesn't exist. I know Kalonzo has a lot of time for Wamunyoro, and Wamunyoro has a lot of time for Kalonzo. Lakini Kalonzo must start becoming tougher with Wamunyoro. Kalonzo cannot rely on Wamunyoro alone because their vote together is only 31%. They need 50+1. So I'm telling Kalonzo here on Sunday Live, I know you love Wamunyoro, and I know Wamunyoro is lovable. And even if I don't love him, I can't win Nairobi. Yeah. So at my own peril, I'm telling you, Kalonzo, you need to open your heart and your hands so that you embrace fully Linda Mwananchi. Gen Z are Kenyans. I wanted to explain to the Gen Z who are listening today. Trump became president of the U.S. because he got the Anglo-Saxon, Christian, Protestant, white vote. And he got white educated women. Then he got a rebellion from 10% of black men. And then a lot of Hispanics voted with Trump. And they voted with him because the Democratic Party has gone too left. Wanataka mambo ya gay, marriage, what, all those things. Yes. So those people believe in the church a lot, particularly the Latino community, rejected the Democrats and went for Trump. So the Gen Zs also will be in a situation where when they see the coalition that can remove Ruto, is a coalition of people they can identify with, like Sifuna, and they would have wanted more. They will actually begin to change their tone, and they will fall in line. And the reason they will fall in line is because even they want to remove Ruto, and they understand that that is an honest task. In fact, if you remember, the Gen Z movement had a problem because they were being asked who is their leader. Yeah, it's very difficult to come with a leadership that can get 50+1 across the country and half the counties 25%. So we need a Gen Zote approach, including the Gen Zs. I'm very proud of them, but I want them to know that people like Tony Gachoka fought when we are in our 20s. We fought like they are fighting, and what they are doing will not go to waste. People like Raila Odinga began in the 20s, and Matiba and the rest. So the Gen Z's struggle will forever play a critical role in the future of Kenya. And the blood that William Ruto has poured of the Gen Z is the shame and the scourge that will make Kenyans want to punish him even more. And I want to tell Gen Zs that there is nothing lost in their demand. There is nothing lost in them unless they don't stand for elections. The problem with Ruto, hesabu yake ya Baba disappeared. When he made a deal with Baba, he made a deal with ODM. Now ODM is minus Kisii. ODM is minus Kamba. ODM is minus Luya. ODM is minus these huge communities. And therefore, what does he left? He's left with a net Luo vote. And that is why I'm saying if Sifuna exits with the orphans out of the traditional ODM, Ruto does not have the number. So what is the Ruto coalition right now? Ruto has a coalition with Senator Oburu, who wants to be the senator. I think he wants to be elected senator. Yeah. He's not even wants even to be a deputy president.
He wants power.
He wants power. But as a senator, now, who is going to be his running mate? Kithure Kindiki? Kindiki cannot be a deputy unless he's bringing in the vote. What percentage of the Kikuyu vote can he bring to William Ruto? So William Ruto, the last election, was elected by two things. The Kalenjin vote and the Kikuyu vote, which was big, and the earthquake from Musalia Mudavadi. So you remove the earthquake of Mudavadi with Sifuna, and you remove the Kikuyu vote, and Ruto is bare. William Ruto knows that he's going. The way in which William Ruto is behaving is very normal with dictators. Mobutu Sese Seko, Kamuzu Banda, there's Emperor Bokassa. That one used to be carried with gold.
Correct. A royal chair.
Yeah, a royal chair.
Like a throne.
Hata kulikuwa moja alikuwa anaitwa Samuel Dole. Alivutwa na wheelbarrow kama dog. And then there was a guy here, a General Bashir. And here in Somali, they will say Barre. Dictators are there and they come and go. But when they are falling, they never know they are falling. William Ruto does not have the coalition to be able to run and win a election. Let me ask you something. Why is William Ruto beating Kisii if he's popular in Kisii? Why is William Ruto beating Western Province if he's popular in Western?
Yeah.
Why is he beating people in Central Province? And how come he's not beating people in Rift Valley? He's not beating people in Rift Valley.
Are you saying the math is not mathing?
I am saying that William Ruto is not going to be the first person to be defeated. But he must remember that there is a place for retired presidents. Hapa kulikuwa Mwai Kibaki akaretire and he was here. Moi retired, he was here. Uhuru Kenyatta has retired, he is here. Wewe Ruto wacha maneno, si umejenga huko Transmara. Wewe retire, enda huko ukaangalia ile makuku unasemaga uko nayo. Wacha kutupatia pressure. Anatuambiaga ati tuache noma. Wewe Ruto mwenyewe wacha noma. For how long will you intimidate people?